was forced to flee Earth after something called Armageddon left it sterile and unable to sustain life any longer. The third of humanity which survived wandered in space for 40 years, searching for a new home, until they reached the Zephyr system. Seeing there were 4 habitable planets within the system, they dispersed. A few, the Scottish, found their way to Parduum first, and so began to rule over my Parduum. But all was well, until one day mankind discovers our most beloved and highly lucrative water silk, and they coveted it and remembered their old ways. For the battles began all over again. Mankind seems doomed to always repeat their past, never learning from their mistakes, and now they're here on my world.
Enter. Lord Uncle, it's such a pleasure to see you. What brings you to the service? How can this have happened?
I'm sorry to be the bearer of such news, Your Majesty. Her Royal Highness must have been taken as soon as she reached the surface.
I repeat, how could this have happened? She was supposed to be safely below in Aqua's city.
Your niece left of her own accord, and no others were involved. She wanted to be with you, my lady. The rebels must have taken her as soon as she reached the surface, which would have been quite easy, as she was alone and without protection. Decidedly vulnerable.
What of her lady-in-waiting? What of her nursemaid? Why was I not contacted sooner? Why did no one contact me over the intercom service? And Lord Albico, why did you waste precious and valuable time surfacing to tell me this?
We didn't want this leaked key. We couldn't take the risk to her safety. And as we just don't know who might be listening, any media may only hasten the danger to her life. So innocent and not anticipating any threat from the rebellion, believing, as she did, that all humans are basically good.
Majesty, perhaps your Majesty could ask His Majesty to help. He could use the whole Pardumian army to find her. Oh, he has such great resources at his disposal. We would have the best chance of finding her with his help.
You would ask me this? You know what he's like. Lady Whale, yes, he may be my lord and husband, and yes, he may be the emperor of all Parduum, but he is human. And need I remind you both as to why humans can never be trusted? They murdered my father, your king, and my brother, and now they have our beloved Omikai. My father may have believed in this union and in our having to live up here on dry land with them in their grand recreations of Earth. The very same planet they destroyed utterly. Why not the bacteria could live? So I ask you both, what then are they going to do to our world? It already begins with murder and violence, and now you can add kidnapping to their treachery. No. We cannot go to him. They can never be trusted.
But may I remind your majesty that he is not the one responsible for the death of your father or your brother. In fact, they killed his brother and tried to kill his father too. He's a good man deep down, cousin, despite his failings.
Please, please, Your Majesty. You must go to him. I know you prefer to act alone, but this time we need the humans and their resources. He's not a bad man. He cares for his people as you do. But you must go to him. For the sake of the princess, you must go now. Every moment counts.
My Empress, what brings my lady to see me?
Extremely urgent business, my lord.
You're so fat.
And as ever, you are obnoxious and rude. I can always go back on my genomic diet, but you, well, you'll always be what your people call an ass. I did not come here for these petty exchanges. I have no time. You know very well I would not come here unless it were extremely urgent and very, very dire. Will you help me or not, my lord?
Fine. What is this extremely important and very dire business then?
Tell me, Kai. The rebels. Taken her.
When?
This very morning, apparently. I only just found out about it moments before coming to you. Ian, please, you've got to find her. Use everything in your power, but do whatever you must. But please find her. She's the only family I have left. I beg you, my lord.
Key wished. She's not the only family you have left. Am I not now your family too? And secondly, besides Lord Umpico, there is another.
Oh, Ian, you cannot mean...
Yes, I do.
What can Shalia do to help us? Her and this water silk smuggler. What could they possibly do to help us?
Together they know people in the underground, people we normally wouldn't have access to. If anybody has heard anything about her being taken, their contacts will know something.
Besides, it's as good a place to start as any.
But just how reliable could they possibly be? They've already shamed the entire royal family on Zephyrus Prime. And our own, come to that. The media are already having a field day with it.
Every family has its fair share of problems, and we could argue about it. Or we could save our niece. You decide.
She's everything to me.
Aye. Well, let's go.